Happy Monday, degenerates, and welcome back to another episode of the Die Hard MMA podcast. For one of the very few times we have ever had back-to-back numbered events, this is exciting. We're coming off UFC 324, and this week we are breaking down UFC 325. Now, I know in the Paramount era, we're not calling them pay-per-view cards anymore. So the numbered cards may lose just a little bit of shine. My suspicion as time continues is the value of the cards and, the star power of the cards, they'll be kind of evened out a little bit. So the fight nights don't suck quite as badly. So maybe down the road, the numbered events aren't going to mean quite as much as they used to. But as of right now, this is freaking fun. We got back-to-back stacked cards, and I am freaking pumped about it. Welcome into the show. George Ray Pro hitting first in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Alawan Dream, of course. Ethan Hershey with a big prediction to start the night. We'll get there. We'll get there, Ethan. We got a little bit to talk about before then, but we'll get there. John, what is going on? Says my girlfriend Kayla went all in on Patty too. She's reloaded her account for next week. Well, me and your girlfriend both, my friend. We've got a full-on, we'll do a nice little recap of last week's event for you guys. Unfortunately, no baby blues, no money chain. I'm not even wearing the money bucket today for you guys. I came in at minus 2.7 units for the night, as is tradition with your boy. My entire night came down to the main event for God knows what reason. For some reason, I'm always going life and death, and the last fight on the card is the one that makes or breaks me. And that was my biggest play of the week. I had a two-legger parlay with Gene Silva tied to Patty the Batty. I thought about doing Silva to Silva. Would have cashed. Probably shouldn't have. But I went Silva to Patty. But that was always the plan. This is one of those spots where I've been waiting for Patty the Batty to finally break through as a top contender. And I was ready to push all my chips in the middle. And I was wrong, That's a tough one. That's one of those ones that burns a little bit because I was just flat wrong at the end of the day. I will tell you, though, watching that fight live, the amount of times that Gaethje wobbled, you could, I know he wasn't, busted up. I know he wasn't bleeding all over all over his face the way that Patty was or anything like that, but we watched his brain rattle a couple of times. You could see him hit the quick reboot a couple of times in the middle of that fight. I really thought Patty was going to knock him out. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I had some really great calls as per usual. Didn't make money on any of them. I hope the show helped you guys out throughout the week, though. Dream says, my biggest question of that main event was, how is Patty going to get Justin to the mat? I thought he'd be stronger. I'll be honest with you. He's a little bit bigger. I thought he would be a little bit more physical with it. But frankly, man, everyone was saying sub. I've been saying knockout all week. I thought he was going to straight knock Justin Gaethje out, and he was close, man. There were several times where it looked like it was actually going to happen. So just highly unfortunate. I mean, I would have felt a little worse if I was like, Patty's going to come out here and wrestle him and take him to, if that was your read, you were completely wrong. I at least said I thought he was going to actually beat him striking. So, I'll take at least a little bit of shame off of my name with that one. Iceland Farts, Grateful Dude, Annoyed, Squidward, Rob, what is going on? Appreciate the kind words, my friend. Mwah, mwah, all of you. Louis Mac Jr., Pandy Jen, and Vic Ross. What is going on? Oh, boy. Okay. So, you guys, we're going to run through real quick last week. We can do the recap, and I'm not going to keep my guest waiting because he's a fun guy to talk to about stuff. So, without further ado, we are keeping the hot streak rolling into 2026. One of your favorite guests, none other than our boy Brady from DFS By The Numbers. What's up, Brady? How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm doing pretty good. Just got done shoveling like 2.5 feet of snow in 8-degree weather, so that was fun. the snowplow plowed all of the snow into my driveway. So I had to go out. I was out there for like an hour and a half. So, but I'm looking forward to kind of coming on here and talking some fights. I think it's a really good card. To be honest, I'm more so looking forward to this card, UFC 325, than I was UFC 324. But, back-to-back numbered cards, it doesn't get much better than this.
Yeah, no, this is good stuff, man. This is good stuff. Now, I'm coming off of an L. It's a small one, less than 3 units. It's not ideal. It's not good, but it's not crazy. You know what I mean? How'd you end up doing last week?
I'm actually kind of pissed off, man. I mean, my plan was to keep it light, keep it short, keep it sweet, and just really attack the spots I like. There wasn't a ton sticking out, but I got crushed. I didn't hit a bet. And
no.
It's not like I had any hot takes. Like I had a Taba Godier to win in 7.5 minutes. He drops Poliev with the very first punch he lands. And I'm like, oh, easy cash. No, it goes 15 minutes. I mean, the fight doesn't go as minus 1,000. I had Umar Nurmagomedov to finish the corpse of Davis and Figueiredo. He literally looked like a corpse and goes out there and plays patty cake with him for 15 minutes. Is that going to get you a title shot, Umar? I thought Charles Johnson would beat Alex Perez. Alex Perez, who's been finished 8 times. No, Johnson, that's the first time Johnson got knocked out. So that was shocking. What else? I had Patty inside the distance as well. So yeah, not like I had any hot takes. I didn't really have any, long shot props, but nothing came through. So this is a card where I already have 6 units on the line and definitely looking to get it back for UFC 325.
Good shit, man. Hopefully we have a good night this week, and I'm with you. I want to get that back too. Let's run over last week's card just real quick because I do have some thoughts, man. I've got some things to say. Ty Miller looked amazing. I was thinking Adam Fugit might be able to kind of bully him around the cage for a little bit longer, but that kid's even better than I gave him credit for. That's one where, I watched the fights at the bar with my father-in-law and his friends, his casual buddies and stuff. And it was a hell of a good time. We were drinking, we were watching the fights, and everyone was looking to me for gambling info. Brady, it was one of those nights where I ended up taking an L with my disciplined approach, playing on just my bets that I had lined up before the fights. No live betting, nothing like that. But as I fed the boys info, these drunk bastards doing shots and asking me what's next, we start cheering because we end up hitting a couple of bets. Next thing you know, people from across the room are walking over and going, hey, what's the next one? What are we doing on the next fight? And so we got the whole entire room gambling with us. I made the room money and I ended up walking away with my pockets turned out. But that's where, like, for this fight of the night, I was like, hey, Ty Miller by knockout, minus 125. Did I bet it? No, I didn't bet it. Everybody else in the room bet it. I told everybody to bet it. They bet it. They cashed. So I'm impressed with Ty Miller. Adam Fugit, unfortunately, just not cutting it at this level. Tough as a $2 steak, but not going to make it. I'm very excited about Ty Miller. Did you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I was just kind of upset because, like, it was always Ty Miller by knockout. I was just hoping for a better price. Like, he's making his debut, and at the end of the day, he only had like 2 knockouts prior to that. So I think the books did a very good job setting the line. I think it was like minus 125, and at the end of the day, it was value it hit. But I wanted a plus money number for a guy that's more of a decisionator,
Right. I completely agree. I thought it was going to be round 2, round 3. I never thought it was coming round 1. So, yeah, man, that one came quick and early, and it looked good. Josh Holkett, I'm very, very happy I avoided the Denzel Freeman experience. Weezy told me to bet Freeman in his UFC debut. I wasn't feeling it. I passed. A lot of people were saying that Freeman had all the edges coming into the fight with Holkett, so I passed. Holkett looked incredible. Freeman looked like he didn't want to be there. And that's another one where everyone was asking me what's up. And I was like, well, Holkett by knockout. I think if I'm going to do anything, I didn't do anything. I didn't parlay him. I didn't do shit. But I got a couple people, a couple plus 250 tickets because they decided to throw, $20 on it right before the fight started.
Yeah, I was debating the over 1.5, which I would have been pissed off if I bet that because holy crap, Holkett looked amazing. Don't get me wrong. But Freeman looked awful. He was gassed out and doing absolutely nothing. He landed 0 strikes in 4 minutes and 59 seconds. He was getting wobbled by, I don't even think anything landed. He just was wobbling across the cage just due to exhaustion. I think they need to cut Freeman. Quite frankly, I'm shocked they haven't cut him yet. I truly believe he's the second worst fighter to ever step foot in the octagon, right behind his first opponent, Bujalo. I mean, get Freeman out of here. I don't want to see him in there ever again. And if they do put him in there again, I'm going to fade the crap out of him. He's horrible.
Completely agree. Brutal, man. Now, my first L of the night, my first true L, it feels like an L when you have the right read and you don't put money on it. So I'm already kind of kicking myself here at this point of the night. Charles Johnson, what the hell, man? So I love Charles Johnson. He gets to the UFC. I'm singing his praises. He immediately goes on a losing skid. And I go, okay, I was wrong about this guy. He's ass. So I start fading him. He starts winning as soon as I start fading him. Okay, so I back off. I take 1 or 2 fights off. We're just not going to touch the guy. This is the spot. This is the spot. Alex Perez missing weight. He's getting cut after this fight. You've got the title shot rematch on the line. Like everything lines up exactly perfect. This is the spot for Charles Johnson. And he gets nuked in round 1. What the hell?
I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, nobody's been able to finish Charles Johnson. That was the first time he's ever been knocked out, and the first one to do it is Alex Perez. Like make it make sense. On top of that, to add insult to injury, this guy Alex Perez blatantly cheated. Not only did he miss weight, he was one of the first people on the scales. I mean, that's about as cheating as it gets.
Yeah. No intention of going back for more. He came in heavy on purpose, man. That was a job saving cheating grab. Like, and you know what? That's these guys' livelihoods. I'm like, they're not going to punish you any harder for it. So I guess I get it. But rough, man. From a betting perspective, rough. I will say though, I'm going to pat myself on the back here. First cash of the year, first Link Memorial Dog of 2026 comes through with flying colors. I told y'all Modestas Bukauskas was ass. I told you not to bet that bum. He's been skating by on the lowest level of competition possible. Nikita Krylov got crazy a couple times in there, Brady. I'm screaming at the TV. If you guys can hear, my voice might still be a little bit scratchy. I was yelling all night long. I'm screaming because every single time in like round 3, Krylov's up 2 rounds to nothing. All he's got to do is get me to the bell, right? And he starts blitzing in there, and he's got the usual bullshit tall man defense. I'm like, if there's one thing that could happen to me of all people, it's Nikita Krylov in round 3 running face first into a punch from Bukauskas. So I'm screaming at the TV like he can hear me. Thank God he gets it done. He comes home. Buzzer beater knockout finish too. So props to him getting that extra 25K bonus. They're giving the bonuses out for everybody finishing now, which by the way, that's the way it always should have been. I love the new bonus structure for the UFC. Did you have anything on this one?
Yeah, I had the under 1.5. Like Krylov unders have printed me money his whole career. You know, I bet the under in the Guskov fight. I bet the under in the Reyes fight. I bet the under in this fight, and he just so happens to wait till round 3 to knock him out. But to be honest, I thought they both looked kind of like ass. I thought it was kind of like an ass off. It was just Modestas Bukauskas looked more ass. So
I'll be juicier ass.
Yeah, I'll be looking to fade both these guys going forward. But Krylov won the ass fight of the night. Good for him.
I completely agree. And that's been my whole thing. I've called Nikita Krylov mid his entire career. I've been fading him nonstop left and right. I just said Modestas Bukauskas is more ass than Nikita Krylov. And you know what? I will say, you guys know I will hold myself accountable. When I do these recaps, I try to be honest with you guys. I did not talk about Paddy the Baddy winning via grappling. I felt smart that he went out there and slugged it out because that's how I saw the fight playing out. I thought Krylov was going to grapple Brady. I talked about that 1.5, and I was like, it might go under because he probably grapples. And if he grapples, he probably finds a sub, but he didn't even sniff a takedown. It was never even close. And frankly, not even really part of the game plan. So I got that one entirely wrong. I'm glad I didn't get suckered into the total because I almost did the side and total thing where you went like under and Krylov. So I would have cost myself. I ended up just sticking with the money line. I feel bad for people like our boy JB here who had fight going the distance and Krylov decision because that is rough. That's a tough beat to take, man. And I told you guys, I was sitting with my father-in-law and his best friend, some of the biggest casuals who I've ever met in my life. Love them to death. We're all sitting there and I'm talking about the Atiba Gutier fight with Pullaev. And I'm like, I think over 1.5 is live here, man. I've been talking about it all week. It was plus 170 at the beginning of the week. This is my biggest regret, Brady. This is the one that I'm like, I saw it. I knew it. I should have pulled the trigger on it. And the line moved dramatically. The 1.5 was like near pick'em by the time the fight actually kicked off, but it was plus 170 on Monday when we broke down the fight. So that over 1.5 is something that I really felt good about and didn't ever get to the window with. And I'm ashamed that I didn't get there. So I'm sitting there talking about it, and my father-in-law's best bud, God love you, Mark. I know you're not listening, but if you were, shout out to him. He goes, I'm just going to bet the fight to go the distance. And I'm like, bro, the fuck? Like, I was like, there's no chance. There's no chance that's hitting. Bet the over 1.5 if you're going to do anything. And he goes, no, I'm going to bet the fight to go the full. Okay. And of course he hits it. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, no, casual bet, spur of the moment, doesn't know anything, and cashes big on it. So it is what it is. It happens. It was crazy.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed with the performance from Godier. I mean, he got outlanded in every single round, and everything that touched Poliev had a reaction. And when he gets touched, he's either wobbling, he's falling backwards. I mean, he fell down at least 5 times, and Godier only landed 34 strikes. So if he would have put together like some more combinations, I think it would have easily got him out of there, but was kind of content to just do one big shot at a time. A lot of missing as well from Godier, but Poliev did do a lot of running away. That's kind of his thing. Likes to run away. So hopefully they give Godier somebody that wants to engage a little bit more in his next fight.
I completely agree. Real quick, we got a dono from our boy Justin. Thank you very much, my friend. Thoughts on the Hernandez fight being pulled? Bro, people were making fun of me. Brady, I posted a video up and I was like, I think we got another Bulgarian going on here. That line absolutely crashed like an airplane on fire. That thing came straight down 24 hours before the fight started. And I'm like, something's up. So I pulled the trigger on MJ. Word is broken since then that apparently Hernandez had an injury that he should have been pulled from the fight for. It's something that was impactful enough that they were calling backups. They had people ready to go to fill in for Anthony Hernandez, but he talked them into letting him stay on the card. Word got out. People started steaming the other side. And Brady, this might be the first time I've ever seen this in my life. Vegas made the call because of what just happened with Isaac Bulgarian. They went, we've seen this shit before. Something is up. So it turns out it wasn't a fixed fight, right? This was not a fix, but there was a drastic injury that very likely would have led to Anthony Hernandez losing that fight that was flying under the radar. Did you see anything about that, or did you have any thoughts on the Hernandez thing? I kind of think they did the right thing, because as much as I would have loved to have made easy money cashing, fading against something because we got the heads up and we saw the line move and all that, that would have been nice. I still, for the integrity of the sport, I think it's good if they catch something like that and straight up pull it so nobody has to deal with it or be on the wrong side of it.
Yeah, I think the UFC 110% did the right thing, because because I don't think it was a fixed fight. Obviously, he was injured, and that info got out, it got leaked, and then sports bettors started gambling on the Johnson side. But if he went out there and Johnson won the fight, then there's gonna be like a little asterisk next to it. Oh, Hernandez was injured, and they did the right thing. Like last year, they let Lucas Almeida fight with the most blown up hand, and the biggest blown up hand I've ever seen.
I remember that.
They let some other stuff go down. So yeah, I think the UFC did the right thing, and hopefully that's what they do the rest of the year. Like if there is some info that gets leaked, first and foremost, those guys probably should get in trouble, right? And then secondly, take the fight off.
Just put the fucking replacement in, man. That's my thing.
Yeah.
You robbed us of a fight. Like, give MJ somebody who he can get in the cage with. Same thing with the hand situation last year. We all knew Lucas was getting his ass whooped because his hand was the size of his face. He was not going to be able to use his best weapon. Just put somebody else in the cage, man.
Right?
It's crazy. The biggest disappointment of the night, Umar Nurmagomedov. Guys, so here, I'm gonna flash the crown, but I'm not gonna put it on, because Bantamweight King, I called it. I said Umar's the decisionator, right? I ended up talking myself into like a late sub because, like Brady was saying at the top, Figgy is a corpse at this point. He's old as shit. He's slow. He's got no gas. He should have finished him. He absolutely should have finished him. But watching that fight, I had a come to Jesus moment, Brady. And Umar is never going to be the fighter who I thought he was going to be. I really thought he was going to be like, I thought Umar was going to be the Gene Silva of the Nurmagomedovs, like the youngest brother, the one who always gets picked on, the one who's got the most training, the ones who's had to fight the older guys his whole life. He should be the strongest of them all. He should be the Goten in trunks going Super Saiyan at age 5, because he's been fighting for his life with these monsters since he could walk, right? Like that's what I kept expecting. I think he just wants to go out and paint flowers. Like, I don't think he's got the killer instinct. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. He wants a clean, technical, pretty fight. And when he takes people down, there is zero urgency. There is zero desire. Hell, he didn't even pass Figgy's guard until Figgy got aggressive, trying to look for a sweep or an escape. He was content to just sit there and ride the fight out. Kid's got no killer instinct. He's not going to be a champion. And I think he's not even going to win fights inside the distance. I think he's going to win a bunch of decisions and end up being in coin flip fights for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I'll go a step further. Hot take. If I was Dana White, I'm cutting Umar after they was so bad that I'm literally cutting him. I don't care if he's a top 3 bantamweight. I'm cutting Umar Nurmagomedov. You have a corpse in Davison Figueiredo, who, by the way, looked even worse. I mean, Davison only landed 8 strikes over the course of 15 minutes. I mean, that was the most William Knight performance of all time. He looked horrible. He looked washed. He looked done. He looked completely gassed by the second round. And Umar didn't take advantage. He didn't even try to finish him. He didn't even try in general. So it was just a horrible fight. I mean, that fight took years off my life. It felt like it was a 30-minute fight. It was boring. It was so bad.
Absolutely. So I have to reassess, guys. I've been wrong about Umar all along. He's never going to get there. He's just not going to be that guy. Obviously, I don't agree. I don't think that they're going to cut him, but there's grounds to. They probably should. Here's my thing, Brady. I think he's going to retire young. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to lose another title fight, and he'll walk away. I think he'll just hang it up because he wants to be somewhere else. I don't think he wants to be in there. Let's see here. Arnold Allen and Gene Silva. You guys, I got to play this again because as soon as I saw this, Brady, I should have just loaded up on Gene Silva, frankly, because as soon as I saw this, I knew.
We're good.
I mean, as soon as I saw this guy crying and screaming at the UFC belt, I knew, like, it was already a Gene Silva bet for me. But when I saw that, I was like, that's the kind of crazy I like. And frankly, Brady, I'm going to take it one step further. I broke this down. I haven't played any futures this year, guys. I have no futures to my name this year. I'm taking Gene Silva to be champ by the end of 2026. It's 5-1 right now. And I think it's a shoe-in, dude. Why do we not bet that right now? Because even if if one or the other happens, right? We've got Gene Silva, who's probably the number 1 contender. They want to get him that title fight. It's an easy rematch with Diego Lopes if Lopes wins the belt. And then if Lopes gets out of there and Volkanovski retains, who else is getting the shot over Gene Silva? I think he's the next contender. And we all know Volkanovski likes to turn around quick and in a hurry. So that fight will happen this year. I like Gene Silva to be champ by the end of the year, man. 5-1. I'm betting it.
Yeah, it was 7-1 before the Allen fight, but I'm right there with you. I think he will be champion as well. I think he could knock out Volk, who we'll talk about, and I think if him and Lopes ran it back, I think he gets Lopes this time around. So I'm right there with you. And yeah, this was like one of my most confident picks on the board this week. It was Gene Silva. I should have laid the -250, -260, whatever he was, and that was a fun fight, very fun fight. This guy's a fun fighter inside the cage. Outside the cage, I'm a little worried about him. He's a little bit emotional. When he walked out for his fight against Arnold Allen, he did a really long stare down with his wife. And I was like, it's kind of like he was staring down his wife. Like, I was really scared for her. So just a really weird guy, but in the cage, he's so good. I mean, he hits very hard. He has a ton of tools on the feet, and he's just exciting. We need more of that.
Yeah, completely agree. All right. And then, like I said, I should have done the Silva parlay instead of Silver Patty, because Natalia, boy, if there was ever a case for judges' scorecards to be filled out pre-fight, Brady, that was the robbery of the night. I feel like that was an extremely clear 29-28 for Rose. I know round 1 was close, but you guys, when we talk about the UFC wants this guy to win, the UFC wants that guy to win, this is exactly the situation that I am talking about, because it could have gone either way. It probably should have gone to Rose, but we got matching 3 judges, 29-28 straight down the board for the person who the UFC wanted to move forward. If Patty was in a spot where it was a 3-2 fight, he would beat Justin Gaethje because they would do the same shit to him. Justin left no question. Rose made it close. Natalia gets her hand raised.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really one to call a robbery, but this is about as close to a robbery as you're probably going to get. I thought Rose won the first 2 rounds pretty cleanly, but yeah, and kind of a disappointing performance from Natalia Silva. She was hitting a lot of air in the first 10 minutes. Didn't really use her kicks as much as I'd like to see. Not the best performance, but hey, a win's a win. Is enough to get a title shot? I don't know, because I kind of thought she lost.
I don't think there's anybody else there. So she probably gets the title shot via default. But, man,
Yeah.
I talked myself into another Derek Lewis bet. Blind betting Derek Lewis in the plus 200 range. Long term, it works. I thought he looked like complete ass, man. I don't know what was going on. Derek Lewis, I know, is a guy you can't always trust, but he was a step slow. And he didn't even really look like he landed on Waldo. So that ended up being a really ugly bet. I thought Waldo was going to look nowhere near the minus 300 or so favorite that he was in this spot. But boy, he looked damn good.
Yeah, I thought Lewis almost looked as bad as Denzel Freeman. Almost. But yeah, both those guys had a pretty rough performance. And it kind of looked like Lewis quit. He got dropped. Didn't look like Waldo landed that hard, to be honest. He kind of fell down and covered up. Fight's over.
Was it the knee? Like I almost feel like he might have like had his knee buckle under him or something and was just like, nah, I'm done.
Which is really weird sequence there to end the fight.
That's tough for the Black Beast to be getting old, man. I will say, though, your Bantamweight King is back because did I not call this, guys? Did I not call this perfectly? I said Sean O'Malley was going to be Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong was a 29-28 Sean O'Malley. I said it was going to be O'Malley decision. I said to bet the plus 3.5 on Song Yadong. That way, if he wins, you're good. If he loses, you're good. I could not have called this fight more perfectly. I loved that one. And hindsight is 2020. That's the one I wish I had gone bigger on for the bet because it was very clearly, in my opinion, 1-1 going into round 3. Some people were saying 2-0 Song, which makes my bet feel even better. But I just felt like there was no way the plus 3.5 was losing on that one.
Yeah, I thought Sean won 2-1 as well. But the only worry I had in the first round is sometimes when fighters go for takedowns and they get them at the end of the round, sometimes the judges like to kind of reward the fighter with that takedown in what was a competitive round. But yeah, if you're scoring the striking that took place the first 4 minutes and 30 seconds, I think you got to give the first round to Sean O'Malley.
Absolutely. Hey, shout out my guy Razor Sharp Picks in the chat. What's up, buddy? Thank you for being here. Hey, if you guys need somebody, we're coming up for the drought. There's going to be MMA, but football's wrapping up. Hockey's going to go away soon. It's going to be baseball, basketball, and I don't know shit about those sports. Razor is the best bettor I have ever met besides my guy Keg. Those are my top 2 boys. And again, you guys, I don't pump subscription services unless they are really worth it. Razor legitimately is worth it. So make sure you check out his stuff. He got me on the Broncos on Sunday, and I never thought they'd be covering that number, but they did. So he knows something I didn't know. And that's right. Razor plug-in coming like clockwork. You got to do it. And we already kind of touched on the main event throughout the show, man. Gaethje and Pimblett. I felt okay. I felt okay. I don't know how it went the full distance. The way that Patty got dropped a couple of times, I thought it was going to be stopped. I thought the ref might step in and stop it. Justin looked like he got his brain rattled several times. I thought he was going down multiple times throughout the fight. The eye poke that cut open Patty and caused a bunch of unnecessary damage like that. That's tough, man, because if the ref had caught the eye poke that like gashed his eyelid open, he doesn't take all the damage that followed up after that because Gaethje laid it on him after he went down after that one. So, I mean, props to Patty. If nothing else, he showed his heart. He showed he can hang. Just not quite there, So I don't know where we go from here. Having Justin Gaethje as champion was not on my bingo card this year.
Yeah, and I'm kind of worried for Patty because I kind of thought if he's going to be a champion, I think it kind of has to be now. Like Taporia is going to come back soon. You have guys up there like Armin Saruki. It's just going to be tough. So I kind of thought this was his one shot, at least for the next several years.
Yep, completely agree. And he fought with staff. He covered it up, dude. I know if you noticed there was like a big old like skin color band-aid on his neck hiding his staph infection. You could see it clear as day once they were in the cage. So Gaethje wasn't even 100%. It looked like he was gassed a couple times in that fight. Like he was sprinting for the finish because he didn't think he could go a full 25. And then he's a freak, and his animal instincts just kind of took over the deeper the fight got as he was kind of grooving there. But man, wild main event. If anything, you guys, pacing, losing fights, whatever, that fight made it all worth it. Like, the main event absolutely paid off the entire card. It's one of those, in my opinion. Instant classic.
Yeah, fight of the year.
All right, guys. Hey, that is a long recap. I know usually we don't go that long, but it was a hell of a card. There was a lot to talk about. So thank you guys for sticking with us. Let's get into UFC 325. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, make sure you're following my boy Brady, DFS by the numbers, and subscribe to his channel as well. That info is in the description below. And if you're on any form of social media or platform, please share the show. Let's get into it. First fight of the night. We've got Kaan Ofli, and he's taking on Yizha. Man, I got to tell you, Brady, I am most upset about this fight, not because it's low level, not because it sucks on both sides, not because Yizha is still trying to get pushed by the UFC, but mostly because we have to deal with another week of Ofli jokes. That was awfully bad. I thought this guy was going to lose his last fight, and I would never have to hear that dumb fucking joke ever again. And they're torturing me because he saved his job. He's still around. And God forbid, even if he loses this one, they might give him one more. So I'm probably going to have to hear it for a long time. Kaan Ofli is 2-1 in the UFC. His one win coming over the absolute can that is Ricardo Ramos. Guess what? By submission. The guy gets choked out by anybody and everybody willing to grab his neck, and he actually gave it up to Kaan Ofli, which is just laughable. So I don't know if I can even read too much into that last fight, because everybody does that shit to Ricardo Ramos. He knew the game plan. He pulled it off. It was a good move. Congratulations. I still think he's ass. He started his UFC run by getting knocked out by Marion Santos. I can't knock him too bad for that one, because Marion does hit like a truck. Looks like that kid is real. And then going toe-to-toe with Muhammad Naimov for 15 minutes. Again, I've got some respect for Naimov. So that's a decent fight. I just think he's going to be on the losing end of a lot of UFC fights going forward as long as he is around. He's a low-level can. He's a guy that I think will fight 4 or 5 times and then get cut. Yizha 26-5. He is 29 years old, so he's coming into his prime. It is now or never. A grappling specialist from the road to UFC. He's 1-1 so far in his second UFC run coming off of road to UFC, and that one win is about as ugly as it gets, Brady. His win is a KO over Weston freaking Wilson. No shit. No shit, you knocked out Weston Wilson. Like, I love Weston Wilson, but we all know he's terrible and he's not UFC level. If you let him snag an arm or a neck, he'll take it home with him. But if you punch him in the face, he'll fall over. That's how it goes. I kind of think Yizha is trash, man. And they're giving him another winnable fight. They're trying to make something of this kid. He's the best one that they have got from road to UFC, and they're trying to make it count. He's a -218, -220 favorite. Kaan Ofli is a +180 underdog. I feel all icky inside, but the fact is I still have to pick Yizha to win this fight, probably by decision. I think he grapples his way and sets a takedown record, getting to a 15-minute scorecard. And by the way, you guys, you may have noticed there's 3 or 4 fights at the beginning of this card that we may have talked about. Yeah, Brady, we got JB catching me here in the chat. No, we're not breaking down the road to UFC fights. Fuck those guys. I fade the road to UFC fighters with all cost. I was telling Brady backstage, I'm sitting there. I've researched 10 fights. It's Sunday night. My wife and my daughter want to watch a movie with me. And I'm going, I gotta research 8 bums for the road to UFC who are going to go 1 and 4 in the UFC respectively. And each and every one of them is going to get cut. No, fuck that shit. I'm done. We are not doing that. So no, sorry guys, we're not breaking down the road to UFC prelims on this card. I'm leaving that shit to somebody else this week. Brady, what do you make of Yizha versus Kaan Ofli to start our night here on the Die Hard MMA podcast?
Funny enough, Yizha was on the road to UFC, I think twice, maybe even
twice.
3 times. Yeah, I think at least twice. He has a ton of road to UFC fights, but yeah, is this the battle of the ass for the week? Because I'm not high on either one of these guys, man. But I'm also never picking Kaan Ofli to win a fight. He just literally does nothing. It's like he does absolutely nothing. He lands less than 2 strikes per minute, extremely low volume. at least with Yizha, he's going to at least attempt a lot more strikes. And on top of that, what I do like about Yizha is he's very relentless with the wrestling and the grappling. We didn't get to see it against Weston Wilson for obvious reasons. You just go out there and blow on the chin of Wilson and he falls down. But Yizha, he's primarily a grappler. He's relentless with it. He'll attempt, multiple takedowns over the course of 15 minutes, and he has pretty good cardio to do so. So just based off of activity, I have to go Yizha. Is he somebody I want to lay minus 200 on? Not really. Ass off of the night, give me Yizha. I think he's a little bit less ass of the two.
Okay, yeah, and I'm in the same boat, man. And JB saying, don't think I've ever seen you take a road to UFC fighter. And frankly, man, that is close to true, and for good reason. The problem is I got burned by this bum. I bet Yizha. I've bet Yizha like twice, JB, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of losing money on Yizha. I can't take it anymore. We got royalty in the house, everybody. We got Big Marley, one of the best DFS players on planet Earth, Team Sleeveless, the man who invented MMA DFS. What's up, buddy? Appreciate you being here. Danny, my man, what's going on? Absolutely took my lunch money. This man bodied me with Justin Gaethje. And Brady, it was one of those where, do you ever have that feeling when one of your friends bets something and you just go, oh no. Like, as soon as Danny posted that he was betting Gaethje, there's times where I go 10 toes down and I'm like, no, fuck you. I know I'm right about this one. My boy from John Stargarian from the Club and Sub, he was like, nice donation on Gene Silva, and I was like, fuck you, Gene Silva's winning this fight. Like, I, of course, jokingly, I love that guy, so I'm never being mean at him, but I knew I was right on that one. Danny post Gaethje money line, and I went, shit. I was like, what am I missing? I knew that one was a bad omen. Congrats, man. That was a great bet. And then my fellow bald king over here, what is up, my friend? Make sure you guys are checking out Half the Battle as well. Let's keep it moving. We have got John Micallef taking on Oban Elliott, the Welsh gangster. Dude, okay, so Brady, I got to get this one out here because Oban Elliott ruined my day. And doing the tape for him just brought all those old feelings back. It was like getting an accidental text from an ex where they're not really trying to reach back out to you, but they accidentally like put your name in and they were like, oh, my bad. I didn't really mean to reach out. Elliott's 28 years old. 3-fight win streak off Dana White's contender series snapped by Seok Hung Kyo. Man, this Welsh gangster and his offensive grappling and all them muscles, and then he's getting one of these road to UFC guys. I was like, oh, easy money. He's a minus 500. It's an easy parlay piece. Don't even think about it. Hyuk Sung Ho took his lunch money. It was like, oh, you like to wrestle? And he just put this guy on his back for the whole fight. He couldn't do shit. I was extremely disappointed in Elliott after seeing how he just got overpowered. He had no responses. He had no answers. Usually when he's on the feet, he stands tall. Very poking and prodding with kind of his long shots, good footwork, fast hands. I like his jab. He does sucker you into feeling confident on the feet, kind of gets you feeling nice where you're up there, and then he lulls you in and takes you down. Good scrambler, good back takes. I really like Oban Elliott, man. That 3-fight win streak had me convinced he was something legit. So now I kind of have to recalibrate just a little bit. Jonathan Micallef, 8-1, 26 years old, 1-0 in the UFC so far. He got his debut against Kevin Jusset, and he was a pretty decent-sized underdog coming into that fight. Looked like he was pretty physical, man. Pretty strong, good underhooks. Submission defense is always checked out. He's a pretty good grappler as well. I've seen him hit some nice reversals. He's very dangerous off of his back grappling. So it's interesting because the UFC is giving Elliott another grappler, but I think Jonathan is more jiu-jitsu off his back than he is offensive with his wrestling necessarily. Sweeps are going to be an option. I think it'll come down to like physicality and strength, because if Jonathan can match Elliott's strength or even overpower him, maybe we could see Elliott get exposed in the grappling in back-to-back fights, man. He showed better striking than I thought he was going to have against Kevin Jusset. He did make Kevin freeze up a couple times, like with his kicks. So I don't know if he just hits harder than Kevin was expecting, or maybe Kevin's just that much ass. But it was an interesting fight that didn't quite go the way that I expected it to. Jonathan is a lot better than I anticipated him being. I kind of lean his way here in this fight. Now, I know that's the recency bias trap of the guy that lets you down as a minus 500 now being a dog against a brand new guy who was a dog and overperformed in his first fight. This is one where I almost feel like with those two narratives going, I should just be blindly betting Oban Elliott to be the guy I thought he was. But my brain and my eyes are kind of telling me I like the short favorite price tag on Jonathan. What are you making of this one, man? I could use some help.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, Elliott, has been a massive favorite thus far. I mean, against Hafez, he was like minus 300. Against Salkilld Ho, he was like minus 600. And now he's a dog to Jonathan Micallef. And, to be honest, it's not good losing as a minus 600 favorite, obviously. But at the end of the day, this guy, Salkilld Ho, he calls himself the Korean Tyson. He needs to change that nickname. He needs to change that nickname to like the Korean Khabib Nurmagomedov. What he went out there and did to Phil Rowe the fight after, controlled Phil Rowe for almost 14 minutes of the fight. So, I think that it was an instance where, yeah, Elliott was probably overrated. I think Elliott has been overrated by the market. But at the same time, I think this Ko guy is absolutely the real deal and could be, pretty dang good because his striking's not bad at all. We didn't get to see the striking in both of his UFC fights. And then all of a sudden he can, mix in takedowns and wrestle dominantly over the course of 15 minutes. I think Ko's somebody to look out for. And then you have Micallef, who put off the upset against Giuseppe.
Call himself Bento Nickel.
Yes.
That's a sushi joke for any of you who got that. Sorry, that was terrible, Brady. Go ahead.
Hey, we love the dad jokes. We love the dad jokes. But, Micallef pulled off the upset against Giuseppe, who, by the way, has been cut. And it's like, was that the first time Giuseppe, a city kickboxing guy, has ever seen a body kick in his life? I mean, he had no answers for the body kick. I mean, Micallef landed it at least 40 times. So it's just one where I'd kind of be careful. I think it's a market overcorrection potentially. I do think it could be a close fight. Like I said, I've always thought that Elliott's overrated, but now that he's a dog against Jonathan Micallef, I kind of think Elliott can stuff the takedowns here, keep it on the feet, and I think it might be a competitive striking fight. So I kind of lean the dog money on Elliott. Not sure I'll get there, but it's dog or pass for me.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to do a little bit more digging on that one because I came in. It's funny doing a podcast, you guys, is almost like writing things down. When I was doing jujitsu and I was taking it extremely seriously, studying for my blue belt, my coach told me write everything down. I had this little notebook that stunk like ass because I put it in my jujitsu bag with all my sweaty clothes and my jock strap and shit. Anytime a coach was showing us a new move, I scrambled over to my bag, grabbed this thing, and I wrote down step by step everything he told us to do. And so then I would go home and I would think about it and I would read the notes. And especially like anytime we went to like a tournament or something like that, I would read through the notes. So I was very, very fresh on the basics that my instructor gave me. And I feel like it made a huge, huge difference. So writing things down, it makes you kind of recomprehend and recontextualize everything that you're saying or that you're thinking about. The podcasting really to some extent is the same thing. You can convince yourself speaking, or if you're going for like a zinger or trying to tell a joke, you throw what you're saying out the window almost. But when you're really talking about the fights, you can hear yourself and you're like, did I just say that? Like, is that real? Is that right? Like, and that's kind of what just happened to me is I'm breaking down this fight and I'm trying to tee myself up for a slam dunk. I want to bet Jonathan Micallef. And as I'm speaking, I was like, God, that's stupid. So I think I'm kind of with you, dog or pass. I don't want to flip flop live on camera. I don't have a bet on this one, you guys. I think I'm going to lean with you up on Elliott. We'll put a pin in that one for later. Come back on Friday and I'll let you know.
Yeah. And one thing I want to mention, Clint, is this fight's going to be in Australia, which Micallef is from Australia. They were supposed to fight a couple months ago. Not in Australia, which would have, been more neutral, but now it's going to favor Micallef a little bit more.
That's a good point. That's a very valid point. He will be the hometown guy, and it could just be the UFC straight selling on Elliott. They could just be done with the guy. After that upset in the last fight, it's like, oh, your ass. So we'll see. Blazed in the chat says, great show, boys. I knew Clint would jinx Pimblett. You son of a bitch. Rob saying, Clint, what's your age? Can't tell if you're 27 or 52. I'm an elder millennial, baby. I got those microplastics in the skin, so we're looking good over here. I actually just turned 38. So yes, I am an old head. If I take the beanie and the hat off, you can tell by the hairline. but the rest of it is looking pretty good. I got some good skin from my mom, God bless her. So not quite, JB, not quite. And if you're going by attitude, I'm basically still 27. All right, guys, next fight up, we have got Jacob Malkoun taking on Torrez Finney. Spectation sports fighter Torrez Finney. I can't wait for this one. Okay, so I've just, what are we doing? Like, Malkoun is 8-3. He's 30 years old. He's 4-3 in the UFC. Rob Whittaker is his claim to fame, right? He trains with Rob Whittaker. Dude, he's pillow fists. This guy is Fluffy Hernandez without the finishing ability. He can't hurt a fly with his hands. The only one he's ever beaten inside the distance is fucking Andre Petrowski, and he hit him with his hip, Brady. The biggest fluke in UFC history. He knocked this man out by thrusting. That's never happened before. It will never happen ever again. Malkoun has great pace, great wrestling. He's boring. The UFC is chomping at the bit to cut this man. They're looking for any reason to cut Jacob Malkoun because you're guaranteed for his fight to go 15 minutes and kind of suck ass. Torrez Finney is undefeated, still 11-0. He's just 27 years old. He is built like a fire hydrant. He's got extremely long arms, and it's crazy, dude. I've never seen a physique quite like Torrez Finney's. He's extremely small for the weight class, kind of a la Daniel Cormier a little bit, where he's short and he's wide, so he can't cut down a weight class, but he's just so much smaller in stature than anybody else that he has ended up fighting in there. His win over Rob Valentin in his UFC debut looks bad, man. That one aged really poorly. Split decision win, could have gone the other way. He is just spamming takedowns, holding this guy up against the fence, desperation, doing anything he can to keep contact on the guy and not get punched in the face. I mean, he's very, very lucky that he didn't get his O taken in that last fight. And frankly, man, I think the UFC kind of likes him a little bit because this is a fight against a guy who can't hurt him. They're giving him someone with zero power in their hands. They're giving him a fellow grappler, another guy who's going to want to engage in the wrestling. So, like, damn, dude, if you mess this one up, like, what are we going to do? Because if he can't beat somebody like Malkoun, I just don't know how long the run is going to be in the UFC. I kind of lean this one being a split decision in the end because it's going to be a scramble fest. I don't know who's going to get on top. I don't know. I kind of think Jacob Malkoun has the better cardio here, so maybe lean ever so slightly towards him. But if Torrez is able to beast his way to top position, I love his ground and pound. The way he just kind of gorilla pounds his way through people. That was his thing on the regional scene, is he would just absolutely crush people into the canvas. I could see him scoring in some positions like that sway the fight his way. So baby lean to Torrez Finney, but if he gasses, Malkoun's going to put it on him.
Yeah, so this is a weird one because, you know, when I was researching this fight, I was like, dang, I kind of like Malkoun here. Like, remember the fight against Brendan Allen, who look at what Allen's doing now. I thought that Malkoun won that fight. I thought Malkoun was able to take him down 7 times. Malkoun was able to out-grapple him in portions of that fight. I was very impressed with that performance. But I was watching, shout out to the guest you had on last week, Lucrative, and he was talking about how Malkoun is coming off of a nasty back injury. And I was checking his Instagram, and apparently he's saying like it was a tough, tough last year, rehabbing and all that. And one thing that scares the crap out of me is how many times we've seen somebody have a really bad back injury and require surgery and come back and look awful. I can tell you 3 different instances. One was, who's the guy that Amir Albazi. Amir Albazi had a bad back injury. He took some time off, had surgery, came back against Brandon Moreno, and he looked completely washed. Ramiz Brahimaj had a really bad back injury, needed surgery, came back, and he looked completely awful against Themba Garimbo. So I'm worried about that back injury because it's just not, fighters after a back injury. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't seem to work out too well. And if he is coming in here, not 110%, not ready to go, he could look like a shell of himself. And at the end of the day, although I do like Malkoun's skill set, he's going to go out there and finish guys, no, but he can take you down. He can control you for 15 minutes. Good cardio, actually really good wrestling and really good grappling. But I don't know, man. that back injury is really holding me back now, and money's pouring in on Torrez Finney. Like I remember Malkoun was like minus 200 or so the last week or two, and now it's just completely climbing down, like minus 135.
Was he that high?
Oh, he was high, man. He was pretty high.
Let me pull this up.
He was.
Oh shit.
He was minus 250, minus 250 at one point, minus 220 a couple weeks ago.
Guys, Brady's not lying. You can see it right here.
Minus 130.
That's at FanDuel. He was minus 215.
So yeah, I'm staying away from it because although I do like Malkoun, 1 year and 9-month layoff, nasty, gruesome back injury, surgery, rehab. I don't know. My lean was definitely on the Malkoun side, but I can't bet it. I can't bet somebody coming off of a nasty injury like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's your Link Memorial Dog of the Week. You can hear my boy Bo going off in the background. We're going to do it. We are going to ride with Team Spectation Sports, and we're going to back Torrez Finney to keep it going, man. Like I said, perfect matchmaking, if there is any perfect matchmaking for this guy. Pillow fists, a fellow grappler, and he's getting an old dude coming off of a back surgery. We've still got plus 140 sitting on DraftKings right now, which seems to be a little bit better than some of the other numbers I'm seeing. Yeah, plus 140, Torrez Finney. We'll try to make it 2 for 2 to start the year here. Link Memorial Dog of the Week. Let's freaking go. Thank you for mentioning that back injury, Brady. That's enough information for me. That's all I needed.
Not to lucrative for that. I didn't know that. I knew he was off for a while, but I didn't know it was from a back injury. And those back injuries are nasty, man.
Yeah, I'll have to hit Lucrative up after the show and say thank you to him as well, because he's the man. He brought it home with Nikita Krylov last week, because I told him, I was like, James, I really want to bet this guy. I just don't know if he's taking it serious. I don't know if he's in shape. For all I know, he could be sipping tea with his feet up in the air, and this could be his retirement fight. And he went, well, Clint, I know he's been training really hard. He's really in shape. And he went back to the drawing board, and I went, fuck it. That's all I needed. Ryan, actually, let's not say that. No more cloud bet at the moment. Sponsorships, they come and they go, unfortunately. So my contract is up with cloud bet. It was a great experience. I really enjoyed working with them. JHK is absolutely the man. They're going to go in kind of a different direction marketing wise for the moment. And the door is open for me to potentially do some stuff with them in the future. It's just not something they're doing right now. So, we're definitely not going to get hostile. I enjoyed my situation with them, and we'll see if maybe we can do something again down the road. So we'll go from there. I'm still shopping around, man. We've got a couple of nibbles on potential sponsors, and we'll see what the future of the show looks like from that direction. But I appreciate you at least thinking of me. Next fight up, you guys, we've got Cam Rowston, and it is Cody Brundage fight week. Degenerates rejoice. There are those of us who look forward to the chaos that Cody Brundage brings every time he steps in the octagon. Man, I made a silly little meme like I always do, Brady, and I posted it up, and somebody was like, dude, I just don't understand what you see in this guy. And I'm like, how do you not love Cody Brundage? Like, Cody lashed out at me for making a video about one of his fights one time, and I was like, dude, pump the brakes. I'm a fan. It's must-see TV. Anytime this guy gets in the cage, he's 11-7-1. He's disqualified the most opponents in UFC history. He's got a draw with Mansur Abdul Malik from a foul, which is crazy. And then he's got a split decision loss in his last fight to Eric McConaughey. I couldn't believe that, Brady. I could not believe that, frankly. And I also thought he won. So it's kind of crazy that they went the other way. But his record, you guys, it's ridiculous. 2 finished losses, a decision loss, a DQ win, a KO win, a finished loss, a no contest, a KO win with a really weird situation, a decision no result due to a foul, and a split loss. There has never been a fighter with a more entertaining record than Cody Brundage in the UFC. And Brady, frankly, I think they keep trying to kill him. Like, the point is they want this guy to be the one when you look up dunk in the dictionary and somebody has to be getting dunked on. That's Cody Brundage. Like, he is the UFC guy that is going to he's going to touch so many records. We're always going to be able to find his name in the pages of these guys moving forward into the future. Cam Rowston, my new favorite fight nickname of all time, the Battle Giraffe, is 13-6 and 3, 31 years old. He's a kickboxing, city kickboxing guy, so he's going to be on home turf for this one. As you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, we got to keep that in the back of our mind. So once again, I think the UFC is trying to assassinate my boy Cody. This guy is a 2 times Dana White Contender Series competitor, which, frankly, you guys know I think is a very sus position to be in. I don't think you're very good if it takes you more than one run on Dana White's Contender Series. And he lost to Torrez Finney, of all people, in his first shot. Just had no answer for the grappling, which is kind of a question mark here because, if anything, Cody Brundage is fully capable of wrestling. We've seen him do it before. The first guy, the guy he beat in his second attempt was 5-0, this Brandon Holmes dude. And Brady, I roasted this guy his last fight. When we broke down the fight with Andre Petrowski, I absolutely laid into him because I have never seen a more padded record than Brandon Holmes. That 5-0 is one of the most disgusting records I think I've ever seen. He never should have been on Dana White's Contender Series. So this guy got the win over that. That got him into the UFC. And then Andre Petrowski, we know the chin concerns, so this guy got him. He was an underdog in that fight. He landed. Good for him. Good striker, big guy, big power. I'm not sure he's any good. All that said, like, you make your UFC debut and you smoke a guy like Andre Petrowski, you'd think there's some hype there, legitimately so. Brady, I just don't know if he's any good. I really don't. Cody, I think, is going to have a pretty significant grappling edge on this fight, but Cody is one of those fighters. We talked about it a lot last week with guys like Anthony Hernandez and Michael Johnson. He finds ways to lose. He doesn't find ways to win. He finds ways to lose. So it's very hard to trust him with your money. I will say, the system bet of Cody Brundage, round 1, KO, TKO, or DQ, it might be in play this week, you guys. It might be in play this week. You make sure you bet on a book that actually includes that DQ in the number rather than just the KO, TKO, because the way this guy turns his head, when people are trying to attack him, he purposefully, he puts the back of his head towards them every single time. And they always are just like, sure, I'll beat the shit out of your spinal cord. They have no problem ripping straight to the bottom of this dude's skull for some reason. So that DQ is live in every single Cody Brundage fight. Man, I am not laying minus 400 on Cam Rowston. He's one of these guys like Zach Reese. Zach Reese is the guy that Cody Brundage sent to hell. Everyone was so high on Zach Reese. I think this is a very similar spot. Now, maybe the battle draft is better than Zach Reese, but I think Cody is live for the upset this week. This line is way too wide for me. It's dog or pass, but because it's Cody Brundage, I don't know that I'm jumping in.
Yeah, I thought he was like minus 300. No, you're right. He's like minus 350 now, Cam Rowston. But yeah, I think I'm a little bit higher on Rowston than you are. Like, you look at this guy and watch his fights prior to the Holmes fight and the Finney fight. It's like, this guy is a grappler and a pretty slick grappler at that. He has multiple submissions. Like, over half his wins come by submissions. So he's very solid on the ground, which that's not typically the case for a city kickboxing guy. And then it's like, now all of a sudden he's knocking guys out. And I know Petrowski is extremely chinny, but that's a good win at the end of the day. Like, Petrowski is a very skilled fighter. But yeah, it's a Brundage fight, man. It's like, you never know what to expect in a Brundage fight. And in some fights, you can go out there and get a DQ win. The fight can be a no contest. He can take Mansour Abdulmalik to a decision somehow that was ruled like a technical decision. Or he can lose to Eric McConaughey. How do you lose to Eric McConaughey? He doesn't do anything.
Can't be doing that, man. Can't be doing that.
McConaughey doesn't do anything. I think McConaughey landed like 30 strikes in 15 minutes. Like, I agree. I gave it to Brundage, but holy crap, that can't be happening. He also lost. I know it's your boy. I know he lost to Cedricus Dumas as well, and it just wasn't a good look. So, yeah, I think Rowston wins this fight. If I was to bet, I would just take a shot. Maybe like the fight ends in round 1. Because the thing with Brundage is he's a great hammer and a horrible nail. Yep. Great hammer, horrible nail. So he could go out there, knock out Rowston on the feet, or if there's any adversity whatsoever, fight's over. So I kind of like the under 1.5 rather than laying minus 350 on
worst nail of them all.
Because yeah, Brundage is a really, really bad nail there. So, and yeah, the thing about Brundage, like, in theory, he has a wrestling advantage, but looking through his record, he's never really been able to go out there, take somebody down over the course of 15 minutes. It typically falls apart at some point, and then he gets finished. So, yeah, I like Rowston inside the distance, probably within the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. My guy Danny says Rowston sub might be a good look. And, I would say that, except the way, man, Bo Nickel had to work for a finish in that fight, because the way Cody turtles, he knows how to defend himself. He knows how to not let you get hooks. He knows how to not let you get his neck. And he just covers up. The ref will step in and stop the fight because Cody just completely shells up trying to protect his head. I think KO more so than sub, but with Rowston having some sub upside, I could understand it.
Yeah.
My boy in the chat, Super Green Samurai. What's up, buddy? Is there a DQ prop? Yes. There is a DQ prop. Now they include it in the knockout prop at most books. So like, for example, I know BetMGM and DraftKings, when you read the KO prop, it's KO/TKO/DQ. FanDuel tries to fuck people. FanDuel, it's KO TKO. And if there's a DQ, honestly, guys, I've never played it on FanDuel, so I don't know if they push it or if you just lose because the disqualification is not a push. That might be like hitting 0 on the roulette wheel where you just lose your fucking bet. I can't speak to that because I saw that and I went, I'm never betting KO props on FanDuel. Never. So make sure you get the DQ. And make sure, okay, there we go. Somebody knows DQ is a loss on FanDuel. Thank you. So yeah, make sure you're betting on a different site if you're looking for the KO prop because you want that DQ in there. It might be, 9-1 instead of 10-1. You might lose just a little bit of value on it. It's plenty worth it in the event of a Cody Brundage disqualification. Oh, good Lord. Let's go. Next fight up, Junior Tafa and Billy Elekana. Man, I need to hit up my boy Liam. I need a drop. I literally need like a podcast drop video of him saying the worst to ever do it. He hates the Tafa bros. And I can't ever stop laughing about it. I freaking love it. It's hilarious. This is Junior, you guys. This is the tall, skinny Tafa, right? This is the one who decided to grow some abs and drop down to 205 pounds. This will be his second fight at 205 pounds. This man got his ass whooped by Tuco Tokos. Brady, this is where, like, last year, my year went off the rails, okay? And it's because of fights exactly like the last two fights that we just talked about. Because I said, you know what? You never can seriously trust a guy like Cody Brundage. You can never seriously trust a guy like Cody Brundage. But they are giving him Eric McConaughey. If there was ever a fighter who he could legitimately beat, somebody who he's actually better than, somebody who he can knock out, it's Eric McConaughey. So what did I do? I bet on Cody Brundage, and he fucked me. Junior Tafa, you get your shit together, you move down out of heavyweight, you'll be faster, you'll hit harder. They're giving you Tuco Tokos. Do I trust the Tafa brothers, Brady? No, you can't trust the Tafa brothers. But should Junior Tafa beat Tuco Tokos? Yes. If you're going to bet anybody, if you're going to beat anybody in the UFC, you're going to beat Tuco freaking Tokos. He gets submitted by Tokos in round 2. He's that much ass. Those are the kinds of mistakes that I made last year. I'm going to do my best to learn from those mistakes in 2026. Tafa's ass, man. Like, he's a decent striker, but he's just like his brother. Everything's a little wild. Everything's a little crazy. Maybe he's a little bit more technical, right? But he has no grappling chops to speak of. And these guys, I swear, they must hang out with Manel Kopp because they think jiu-jitsu is gay or something, man. They refuse to get on the mats and learn how to wrestle. They refuse to learn submission defense. So I have no reason to suspect whatsoever that in the last 6 months, this guy has gotten his blue belt. I don't believe that that's taken place. I will believe it when I see it. Billy Elekana, 9-2. He's 30 years old. He's another bit of a weird story, man. I didn't believe Billy when he made it to the UFC. Getting guillotine choked by Bogdan Guskov in your debut. Short notice or not. I know it was short notice. I know it was up a weight class. Like, I get all of that. But getting submitted by Bogdan, I was like, that just another result that never should have happened. Like, that's just an absolute meme. So when he fought Ibo Aslan, that's the one where I wanted to fade shit with shit. And I wanted to bet him because I thought Ibo just completely sucks. But I couldn't get to it because I still thought Billy Elekana kind of sucked. Since then, he's rattled off back-to-back wins, man. He beat Ibo, exposing him. And then he just choked out Kevin Christensen in his last fight. Round 1, made it look easy. So is Billy Elekana good? Billy Elekana might be good. I kind of have this weird feeling that Billy Elekana is actually a decent fighter. And seeing what we saw in his last fight, winning via first round submission, that's your path to victory right here against Junior Tafa. Man, if you can go out there and grapple this guy, should be easy. But this is the bear trap, Brady. Like, I think this guy's ass. And here I am going to lay minus 250 on him and get my leg bit off by this thing. I don't think I want to lay minus 250 on Billy Elekana. I'm going to pick him to win the fight. He should win this fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is really just a fight IQ test for Billy Elekana. I mean, that Tokos fight was a horrible look. I mean, Tafa made Tokos look like Khamzat Chimaev out there. I mean, Tokos was taking him down, ragdolling him, and Tokos was completely gassed out in his own right and still was able to get an arm triangle late in the second round. And then even in like the Sean Sheriff fight, remember Sheriff took that fight on like 2 days' notice. If there were like 5 to 10 more seconds left in that first round, the fight was over. You know, Sheriff was on top, pounding away at the end of the first round, and he obviously gassed himself out. But I mean, this guy Tafa is a white belt on the mat, and that's being nice about it. I mean, he has some of the worst grappling you'll ever see, and Elekana has some grappling chops. Like in the Guskov fight, Elekana took that fight on very short notice, and he took down Guskov in the first round and controlled him for like 3 minutes of the first round. And then he gassed out. Of course, he took the fight on short notice, but you know, I was kind of impressed with the first couple minutes of that fight. And if you're Elekana, the game plan, it's so simple. It's so simple. You take down this white belt bum and you choke him out. It should be so easy. My concern is what happens if Elekana goes out there and strikes with Tafa for 15 minutes. He's not minus 250. He's not minus 250 in that fight, but he will be minus 250 and more if he grapples. And if he grapples, he's going to run through him like a hot knife through butter. So I'll say he does grapple. I don't see why he shouldn't. And if he does grapple, he's going to make this Tafa look like the white belt he is.
Okay. I like it. My boy Danny says Tafa looks good in shape and he's been in Thailand. But Danny, to quote Sergeant Terry Jeffords, why? Why is he in Thailand?
I know.
He should be in Brazil. Yeah. He should be in Russia. Why is this man in Thailand? That does me no good.
You got to work on that ground game, man. I don't know what
Got to do something about that ground game. Call Ben Askren. I know he's still in a wheelchair. He will still coach you how to defend takedowns. Like, he doesn't even need to show you anything, man. All right, guys. Next fight, you've got Quillan Salkilld, and he's taking on Jamie Mullarkey. This is like it's got to be the click of the night here, Brady. It's absolutely, this has got to be the spot because Quillan Salkilld is on a rocket ship. This guy has a KO of the year contender over Nasrat Haqparast, a guy who's been known for his insane levels of durability. Now, I bet Nasrat Haqparast in that fight because coming off of the absolutely bum level wins over Anshul Jumbly and Yanel Ashmoz, I have enough beef with Quillan Salkilld that I'm like, he's a little bit too tall, man, right? His chin has been checked many times. I know he's very durable, but I don't like the defense. He's been hit way too many times for my liking, and he's been able to just starch these guys. I know his grappling is kind of savvy as well. He's very dangerous on the mat, but I wasn't sure he was going to be effective with that against a guy like Nasrat. So here I am thinking this is finally the spot. He's flown a little too close to the sun. They're moving him up the chain way too quickly. Even money on the veteran, give it to me. So I took Nasrat Haqparast. I think I got plus 100 on him. I liked the even plus money number there. And he smoked him, Brady. I mean, highlight reel deaded that man. They took an extra 10 minutes of commercial breaks so they could peel him off the canvas. It was brutal. Quillan Salkilld might be the goods. And I don't know that this is a step up in competition. You know, Jamie Mullarkey, I've talked many, many times about him being, you know, a hometown favorite. 18-8. He is Timu Alexander Volkanovski, right? He's tried to mirror Volkanovski after losing to him and training with him. He did his best to kind of become like him. Losses to guys like Jalen Turner, Brad Riddell, Faraz Ziam. It's like he fights well, man. He gets in there and he wants to make the best of it. But his chin just falls apart randomly. Like, it's weird because there will be certain fights where it'll look like he's the most durable guy you've ever seen. He'll take a million punches and just keep on coming forward. He's first generation upright. This guy invented fire. Like he'll take everything coming at him. And then all of a sudden something binks him in the wrong spot and he goes down. Like the Nasrat Haqparast knockout. Nasrat doesn't knock out anybody. He dropped this dude in the first. So I can't trust his chin. And he's going to be in a firefight. I don't think he's got the power to pop off Quillan Salkilld. Salkilld is younger. The UFC obviously likes him. And this is the ritual sacrifice spot of the week, Brady. Every time the UFC goes to a location, there is one fighter on that card that is being brought to die in front of his friends and family. And I always go back to the example of New Mexico and Diego Lopes. They put Diego Lopes in his own backyard and gave him freaking backflip McFix fighter. What's his name? Micallef. Pereira. Thank you, Michael Pereira. Do you remember that? Like they wanted to kill Diego Sanchez in his hometown. So that's what's happening here. They're sacrificing Jamie Mullarkey at the altar of Quillan Salkilld, man. I think that we're going to play Salkilld, and I think it's going to be Salkilld by KO.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Mullarkey's 31. He looks like completely washed to me. I thought that win he had against Bedoya, I didn't think it was a great performance. I didn't think he looked that great. Like he was eating some shots from Bedoya, but Bedoya went 0-4 and got cut, and Bedoya has no power. And in that third round against Bedoya, like Mullarkey was running from for his life in that third round. He was running away, and I thought Bedoya was about to actually finish him, which would have been crazy. And then now he's fighting Salkilld, who's like 20 times better than a guy like Bedoya. So yeah, it was supposed to be Salkilld versus Rongju. Rongju had to pull out, which by the way, that would have been a fun fight. Then they had to find somebody, give him the hometown guy and Jamie Mullarkey, but it's a brutal matchup. I don't think Mullarkey can take a punch. Mullarkey's taken, several lifetimes worth of damage. He has no chin at this point. And yeah, this could be the Ty Miller KO click of the week. Ty Miller by KO is -125. Salkilld by KO is -120. Probably
it is.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, that's cheap, Brady. That's a cheap number.
Yeah, because maybe they're thinking like it could be like a club and sub, which would be annoying because Salkilld has a lot of subs, but there's no really reason to grapple with Mullarkey. Just touch his chin, will fall over.
Yeah, no, completely with you. I mean, I wonder what the inside the distance number is going to be because Quillan Salkilld, you guys, is like -800 at the opener. So they're going to make it real tough for you to put any kind of real legitimate money on it.
It's -375 Salkilld inside the distance.
Jeez. Yeah, see, that's they know what's up. This is the ritual sacrifice of the week. All right, guys. Real quick, shout out to Spectation Sports. If you guys clicked the button and tuned in, Cage Titans this past week was absolutely spectacular. It was a ton of fun, lots of finishes. My boy, Casey Norton, Wonder Bread. You guys look out for this kid. He's going to be on Dana White's Contender Series. He's going to make it to the UFC. He is phenomenal. I love this guy. You need to check him out. And if you're going to be watching MMA, if you're going to be watching and studying for Dana White's Contender Series, then you need to be signed up for Spectation Sports. And if you're not gambling, if you're just a good old-fashioned MMA fan and you want more fights in your life, then you absolutely need to be signed up for Spectation Sports. They're growing, you guys. They are collecting MMA organizations like Thanos collected Infinity Stones. Word on the street is they've got a couple conversations going on with some of very exciting promotions that used to, Fight Pass, maybe. They might be, they're trying. So you didn't hear nothing from me. We'll see what happens, but it would be really cool. They might, they're growing. I'll say it that way. They're growing. So you want to be here. You want to be on the team. You want to be on the ride. Lots of fun fights. Good way to research these up-and-coming fighters. Promo code DIEHARD will get you 20% off when you sign up. Guys, I am joined by DFS By The Numbers. My man Brady's helping me break down UFC 325. Please make sure you're supporting him. Give him a follow. Check out his channel. Check out his content. Give him a follow on social media. While you're here, hit the like button, and of course, subscribe to the show because we do this every damn week. Let's keep it rolling. Next up, we're headed to the heavyweight division, man. Big boys. Tai Tuivasa takes on Tallison Teixeira. Crazy fight. I didn't think we were ever going to see Tai again. I legitimately felt like Tai Tuivasa was going to be retired, done for good, and we would never, ever, ever see him again, he's coming back after like a 1.5 year layoff. He's in his backyard. Kind of makes sense. Weird booking, though. Tallison Teixeira is 8-1, 26 years old. And I don't know if I want to say he got fraud checked by Derek Lewis. To be fair, Derek is the KO champion in the UFC. He is the #1 highlight reel man in the octagon. And he was getting up, Brady. He was not out cold. He got rocked bad by Derek. And his recoverability, I think, is the thing that impressed me most, because he was working his way back up to his feet. And the ref stepped it off and he protested immediately. It's like, usually when Derek connects like that, people do not stand back up. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed that he was durable and tough enough to do that. And from everything we've seen, this guy is hell on the feet. 30-second KO, 1 minute and 50 seconds, 1 minute and 50 seconds, 24 seconds, 30 seconds. I mean, like, this guy just destroys people on the feet. He's a very exciting young prospect. Tuivasa, bro, he's on like a 5-fight losing streak right now. His last fight was a staring contest with Jairzinho Rosenstrike, went to decision and still lost the damn thing. I think he's just lost it. Like, he's a gunslinger who was on the receiving end with bigger guns. He lost a couple too many times. He doesn't want to get hit in the chin anymore. He's got Forrest Griffin syndrome. I don't know if you remember, but Forrest Griffin, he was always known for his durability. And then one day he just didn't want to get hit no more. And he completely changed the way he fought, and he was ass after that. I wouldn't want to get hit in the face either. That's why I'm not a professional fighter. But I just have a hard time believing Tuivasa is coming back in any sort of good mentality here. I've got a hard time believing he's going to turn back the clock and be the wild man that we saw before. And even if he is, I don't know how he's going to close the distance on Tallison Teixeira. Tuivasa's leg kicks might be the one way he can win this fight. Those are some of the most brutal chopping leg kicks that we have ever seen. But I feel like Tallison is going to be prepared for that. And usually straight punches are a beautiful counter to those chopping leg kicks. He's so long, man. When Ty is in kicking range, Tallison is going to be in punching range. Believe it or not, I think he's going to hurt this dude. I think it's Teixeira. I think he bounces back. I think he gets back on a roll. And I think we're going to see Tuivasa retire on home turf.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. 5-fight losing streak. I mean, he hasn't won a fight in like probably 4 years. I think the last time he won a fight was maybe the Derek Lewis fight where he landed that elbow. I mean, it's been so long since he's won a fight, and I can't pick him here. I don't know if he's taking this seriously anymore. He hasn't fought in a year and a half. He's got things going on outside the cage. But one thing I do know, though, is, I mean, Teixeira is going to give Tuivasa some opportunities. Teixeira, he kind of has that tall man's defense. I remember his Contender Series fight. He was fighting with his chin up in the air, eating some shots, and he does have a chin, but I mean, that's a dangerous game to play in the heavyweight division. We saw that against Derek Lewis when Lewis touched him with one of the first punches that landed. So I'm personally not running to lay minus 300 on a guy like Teixeira, who is pretty defensively responsible. But I do think he's going to knock out Tuivasa. I think it's going to be a quick fight, because what Teixeira does is he's going to come out here and make it a car crash. All of his fights have ended in the first round, and I think Tuivasa is going to oblige in that car crash. And I agree. I don't think Tuivasa likes getting hit anymore. So I kind of think he's going to get hit once and maybe, fall over, fight's over. So yeah, Teixeira for me, Teixeira probably in round 1.
Yeah. You and me are seeing that one pretty cleanly. The same here, man. I hate to see it because we all love the Shoey. He was the king of the celebration after the fight was over. It was good times when Tuivasa won a fight. Hope we get a chance to see that again, but I just don't know that it's going to happen. Next up, we've got Rafael Fiziev taking on Mauricio Ruffy. One shot is back, Brady. Man, this is an interesting fight. Striker's delight. Ruffy got absolutely exposed on the mat by my boy Benoit Saint-Denis. We will talk about him here in a minute. One of my favorite bets, I think, of all time. And the UFC went, whoa, what are we doing? Give him a striker. So Rafael Fiziev is coming in here, the king of Tiger Muay Thai. He's been having a lot of issues, Brady. He's been injured a lot. He's had a bunch of canceled bouts because of it. He's really been struggling to stay healthy and stay active. And when he has been in the cage, I mean, since 2021, we're talking 5 years, he's 3-3 in his last 6 fights. 2 losses to Justin Gaethje. Got, that injury TKO loss against Mateus Gamrot. Like, I just don't know if he's physically healthy. Now, when he is 100%. He looks like $1 million. He whooped Ignacio Bahamondes. Made that kid, really took him to school, made it look easy. That was impressive as hell. And so I think a lot of people might expect there's a chance he could do that to someone like Ruffy. That recency bias of Ruffy coming off of the loss the way that he did. But this is just an entirely different matchup. I think this is going to be a very technical striking match, but Ruffy is going to be the much larger human in there. His kicking game, I think, will give him an edge. Now, hopefully we see that, Matrix style backbend kick dodge that Fiziev does. That would be awesome. But I don't know how this one's going to play out. I really don't. I could see Ruffy hitting him with big shots and it just being too much for a guy like Fiziev who's got that injury concern. I could see Fiziev just being so defensively solid with that Muay Thai stance and those big bulky arms and shoulders. Maybe he blocks everything and bullies him the way he did Ignacio Bahamondes getting in range, because I do worry about Ruffy's gas tank. We've seen that be an issue for him before. If he's not getting that early finish, I remember the James Yontop fight. He was basically punching a punching bag for 15 minutes. He looked tired at the end of it, dude. Like at the end of that fight, it looked like he needed a break. It's like all this guy has done is walk forward into your punches, and you're somehow the one who's getting exhausted. If Rafael Fiziev is the one who's walking forward, he's going to be hitting you back. He's not just going to let you touch him and do nothing about it. So I am playing this fight out in my mind a whole lot of different ways right now. And I know the UFC likes Ruffy. I know he's supposed to be Conor McGregor 2.0, and I'm just kind of not buying, Brady. I don't know what it is. I don't believe in Ruffy the way I do some of the other fighting nerds. So at a pick'em, I feel like this is coin I don't need to flip territory, because I'm not confident that Rafael Fiziev is healthy enough to be in there with this kid. But at 100%, I kind of lean his way. So help me out, man. What do we do here?
Yeah, I'm not betting this fight from a money line standpoint, because I lean the Ruffy side, but he was, plus money for, 6 weeks up until recently. Now he's minus 128. So the line is flipped in favor of Mauricio Ruffy, at least on Bet Online there. And yeah, for me, it kind of feels like Ruffy might be getting Fiziev at the right time. It's like Fiziev is only 32 years old, but like you mentioned, he's been dealing with some injuries these last couple of years. He's taken a lot of damage in some of these fights. So, and Ruffy's going to get the fight he wants, which is a fight that's going to take place on the feet. Maybe Fiziev's going to go out there and try to mix in a takedown or two, but, Rafael Fiziev's not Benoit Saint-Denis. So I think this could potentially be fight of the night. I think it's a striker's delight. I think these guys are going to stand and bang. I'm going to lean with Ruffy to get back on track here, but it could be close. It could be like a potential split decision type fight here, but I lean the Ruffy side. Just not interested anymore now that he's minus 130.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. And you're probably right, man. And this might be the Natalia Silva of the week, right? Like if this thing goes to 15 minutes, who's getting their hand raised? If it's a close fight, Ruffy's probably the one who's getting the call. My boy Danny's saying Ruffy is not at the Fighting Nerds anymore. Oh, shit. Is he not? I thought he was one of the boys. I thought he was on the team. I didn't even bother looking. Where's he at now, Danny? Do you know?
Yeah, he's training somewhere else for this camp. I'm not entirely sure where, though.
Sorry, I was talking to Danny in the chat and talking to you on the mic, so I ended up saying, "Do you know Danny?" Do you know Brady? Do you know Brady? Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that, because that will tell me a little bit. I like to know coaching staffs. You know what I mean? If you can tell certain guys have a certain style, there's coaches that I trust to make people better. People are saying he went to City Kickboxing.
Yeah, it looks like he's in Australia.
Okay.
Which is great. I mean, that's really good.
Honestly, for his style, that's a very good camp to be at. So
yeah.
Intriguing. So technically, he is the hometown boy. Somehow, Mauricio Ruffy is the hometown fighter here today.
And he won't have to make that long trip, which is good.
Very intriguing. Okay. And that probably explains the line move as well. All right. See, that's one where I wasn't confident at all at the start. With all the factors included, I probably lean a little bit more towards Ruffy. So if you want this one, you guys, it's going to steam one way and one way only. You've got a fighter who's older. People love him. Hardcores love Fiziev, but he is not somebody who gets worldwide acclaim. Casual fans are not going to know who he is. The name Ruffy, the Fighting Nerds, they're hot right now. So it's if you want it, get it before it moves. because we absolutely are probably going to see money coming in on the Huffy side of things. Co-main event, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Dan the Hangman Hooker in his backyard taking on my boy, Benoit Saint-Denis. Oh, this is it. This is the one, Brady. You guys, I am ride or die with Benoit Saint-Denis. I found two guys. I found two men in Dricus du Plessis and Benoit Saint-Denis that everybody looks at and goes, they are so ugly. They have no style. They have no process. They have no technique. And I said, yeah, but they're monsters. When you tell your children about the monsters under their bed and in their closets, you're talking about guys like Benoit Saint-Denis and Dricus du Plessis. It doesn't matter that they don't know what they're doing. They are just bigger and stronger than you, and they want it more. This guy was freaking French Secret Service level shit. Like, this guy was doing black ops, painting his face dark and murdering people underwater with a buck knife. Like, he's insane. The word quit doesn't exist. Now, he's been knocked out twice. One of those, both of them actually have a bit of an asterisk next to them. The Dustin Poirier fight when he fought with the staph infection, that was bad. Wasn't ready, got rushed a little bit. The Moicano fight, he made a mistake in round one and got beaten up so bad his eye swelled shut. I stand by it. I will say it every single podcast. He wins that fight if the eye doesn't swell shut, because he already was starting to take over in round two, even when he couldn't see. He was going to beat Renato Moicano's ass if they let that fight continue. And now he's back on track. He took out Kyle Prepelic. He got his softball. He got his get right fight. They gave him Ruffy, and the world wanted Mauricio Ruffy, and we said, no. It's God of War season, ladies and gentlemen. And in his last fight, he executed Beneil Dariush. I like Benny. That's tough. That was a tough one. It was sad to see because I like Benny. But yeah, that was a get the name on the resume moment, and he put him down in 16 seconds. Absolutely unreal. The issue with this fight is Dan Hooker is the type of guy who, if you don't take him out back and old yeller him, he will come back and kill you. Like, you've got to finish Dan Hooker. Brady, the fight that always comes to mind for me is his war with Jalen Turner. He ends up winning a split decision in that fight, and he was dead 2 minutes into the fight. He ate one of the biggest head kicks I've ever seen. I do not know how he survived that. And then he took a ton more punishment and somehow got to the stool after round one, shook it off, and walked back out there and said, let's go. And Turner went, oh, fuck. I don't know how he does it. He's taken more damage than anybody, and somehow his chin is not completely broken. Now, he's been knocked out by guys like Michael Chandler and Arnold Allen and Edson Barboza. So he can be finished. He can be had. But he's also a very good scrambler. I actually think this is a Benoit Saint-Denis sub situation. He's a very good wrestler. He'll get on top. He's bigger. He's stronger. And Dan has been known to give up submissions in the past. And even like you think back to the Islam Makhachev fight, like he just got cranked, man. The Kimura. That was a big boy sub, right? That was I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. I'm just taking your arm home with me type of moment. And I think Benoit Saint-Denis can do something of the same. Now, BSD really more prefers his chokes. He likes the rear naked choke, especially. But I wouldn't be surprised if he takes notes from somebody like Islam Makhachev. I think that's kind of the idea here, is we've seen that Dan Hooker can be had by these guys that are grapplers like Islam, like Arman Tsarukyan, and the UFC said, we like this BSD kid. Let's make that matchup. I love Benoit Saint-Denis this week. I think he is the runaway finisher here. I think he wins inside the distance. City Kickboxing might be in for a rough night on Saturday.
Yeah, and I'll be in for a rough night if BSD doesn't get this job done, because I like BSD quite a bit here. And yeah, I think it's sub as well, but it wouldn't shock me if he knocked out Dan Hooker. I mean, Arnold Allen knocked out Dan Hooker, and that was Allen's only knockout in his entire UFC career. Michael Chandler knocked out Dan Hooker in a couple minutes. Michael Chandler has lost like his last 10 fights. So, yeah, I think Saint-Denis could knock him out on the feet. I think Saint-Denis at this stage of their career is the more durable fighter, and that I just think there's a massive advantage in the grappling, and I kind of think that's where he's going to go. And I want to give a big shout out to Benoit Saint-Denis for that Hoofy fight. It's like he didn't even mess around, man. He's like, okay, this is the game plan. I'm going to execute that game plan, and he executed it perfectly. Like, how many times have we seen a fighter have a really big advantage on the mat and just strike with him for no reason. BSD showed some phenomenal fight IQ there, and if he takes down Dan Hooker, it's going to be bad. It's going to be very, very bad. So I like BSD, ITD, probably by sub, and money's coming in on the over 1.5. I think BSD gets him out of there probably within the first 7.5, maybe 10 minutes, but I think he finishes him nonetheless.
I could see it. I think that makes sense. And that's kind of what happened in the Armin Saryukin fight, right? Like just being relentless with the grappling, eventually it paid off and he got it. So I kind of expect that's going to be what happens here. Round 2, maybe mid round 2, end of round 2. I think that 1.5 gets real hairy, man. I wouldn't want any part of that over 1.5 just because that's right around where I expect the fight to land. Benoit Saint-Denis, round 2, round 3 for me. That's definitely what I'm thinking.
And micro picks in the chat saying BSD hasn't knocked anyone out. He's knocked four guys out. He knocked out Frivola, he knocked out Moises, he knocked out Miranda, he knocked out Benny. So it could be KO, it could be sub. I think just taking the ITDs, the smart approach.
Probably so. I want to see what the split is as far as the line goes, the difference between inside the distance and then sub or KO, because he's more than capable of doing both. The catch for me here is Dan Hooker is extremely hard to actually KO, and I think it's smooth strikers that knock him out. And Benoit Saint-Denis is anything but smooth. Like he just kind of clubs people to death. Those aren't the guys that are getting Dan Hooker out of there with knockouts. I think it'll be a club and sub if he like hurts him on the feet and then takes him down. I would play the straight sub if there's a big discrepancy between the numbers. But if it's, sub is plus 120 and inside the distance is minus 110, obviously you take the inside the distance. It's just not that big a deal. We touched on the futures, you guys, when I brought up my boy Gene Silva, because I did lock in that futures position on him for the end of the year. And there was only one or two other futures that I was really kind of interested in. And Benoit Saint-Denis is a guy that you may want to consider if you like tying up, a small bet for a long shot, maybe an opportunity to hedge at the end of the year, that kind of thing. At 155, let's see here. Let me find it. Ooh, did they take it off the board?
Did they?
Heavyweight, light heavyweight, welterweight, featherweight. Where's my lightweight? Bantamweight, flyweight, women's. Oh shit, they took the lightweight futures down. Those sons of bitches. Benoit Saint-Denis was like 20-1. And I really think that that's value because the UFC put him in a position where they promised him a shot at Islam against Dustin Poirier. And now he failed that test. He hit the drawing board. He's been working on his game. And now we don't have any idea what's going to happen by the end of the year. Both Islam and Ilya may be gone from the division. I think Benoit Saint-Denis is a shoo-in for being a short list title contender. And I also think he's one of the few people that might be able to grapple with a guy like Islam Makhachev. Now, can he beat him? Probably not. But at 20-1, if you get the opportunity at the end of the year, that's a beautiful hedge situation right there. So I think if you can still get anywhere near that 20-1 number on Benoit Saint-Denis to be champ 2026, I think it's an okay play. And I will consider sprinkling it if they bring it back up.
Yeah, it all comes down to whether or not Topuria comes back. Because if Topuria is out of the picture, it's wide open.
And that's kind of my thing. If Topuria truly is chasing Islam up a weight class, 155 is wide open and it's a graveyard. These old ass 155ers, you guys, they're all going to move on very, very shortly here. And a guy like BSD can whip some of these old fools. Give me Benoit Saint-Denis against Justin Gaethje. Max bet season. Bet season. So like, don't even play with me right now. If I can get 20-1 on Benoit Saint-Denis, we're clicking. I should have done it when I broke down the futures, when I did the future show at the start of the year. But if they give me the opportunity, I'm doing it again now. All right, guys, main event time. Let's do this thing. We've got Alexander Volkanovski, the rematch, taking on Diego Lopes. And Brady, I don't want to dig too far into the technical breakdown on this one because we've done it before. This is a rematch. If it's your first time watching the show, I apologize. You'll get shortchanged just a little bit. We know Alexander Volkanovski is a tactician. We know he's extremely well-rounded. He can grapple. He can strike. He's very defensive. He's got great cardio. Like this guy is everything you want in a champion, and he's very cerebral about it as well. When he comes prepared, he is very hard to beat. There's not a lot of people that I want to be betting on at 37, 38, 39 years old. Volkanovski is one of the few guys who I think probably can do very well at the tail end of his career, even though he's getting a little bit older. He's been knocked out 3 times in his career, and 2 of those were very recently. The off-the-couch, short notice opportunity against Islam, up a weight class, and Elliott Topuria. Those are the 2 guys that were able to knock him out. His first knockout loss was like his second or third UFC fight or MMA fight in his career. So like we're going to draw a line through that one. He's incredibly durable. And he proved that against Diego Lopes in his last fight. Diego is kind of getting a second shot at Volkanovski because he ruined the UFC's plans. This was supposed to be Gene Silva, and he got that insane upset. He really is kind of undeniable. He's called in a bunch of favors. He's a company man. He comes in on short notice and he just fights his ass off. This guy is must-see TV. So, of course, they're going to give him the opportunity to go get that title again. And I do think we are maybe getting to the point where Volkanovski is a little long in the tooth. He is a little bit older. I bet him in the last fight, minus 155, minus 160 against Diego Lopes. And that fight went about the way I expected it to. Alexander Volkanovski is a guy who I trust, and you just don't bet against him. Like, until you've got a real reason to bet against him, why would you? Like, he's still got it. He's still shown that he's got it. He's still as technical as he ever was. His game plans are better than everybody. Like, there's no reason to doubt this guy. I will tell you, Brady, the one thing that I find sus is that the line is identical to the last fight, which I find very interesting. I know it's a quick short notice turnaround, but like you look at the first fight, Volkanovski versus Makhachev versus the second fight, it was only, 6 months later? Like that was a very quick turnaround. And again, I know the short notice nature of the second fight. Volkanovski fought so well in that first fight that they dropped the number down. He was a plus 300 in the first fight. He was a plus 200 in the second fight. They were like, oh shit, like he was way better than we thought. We can't give you that kind of value number. They're not doing that on this one. Volkanovski fought extremely well, left no questions. He beat this guy. They're turning it around quick. And the bookies are saying, I was hoping they would make Volkanovski a minus 300. And I could take a dog shot on the guy who just lost at a much bigger number. But they're not giving you any extra juice. And I find that sus, Brady. I find that sus. Kind of leads me to believe that the books don't want to give any extra value to Diego Lopes. They are willing to welcome the habitual Volkanovski bettors with open arms, with a short number. And that scares the living shit out of me. So that's my line analysis on this one. If we're talking about the fight itself, I still think all the things that are true I said last time are still true, that Volkanovski has the technical advantage, the game plan advantage, the wrestling advantage. Lopes is a finisher, and that's the issue, is that Volkanovski is not a guy who's easy to finish. But Lopes is the younger guy, and every time we see him, he gets better. He thinks well on his feet. He makes good adjustments. I could see him being the guy who makes better adjustments in this fight. I think this main event is dog or pass, man. I know that's tough to say with Volkanovski. You don't want to bet against the guy. I don't have anything locked and loaded. I think it's dog or pass. What are you doing here, Brady?
I agree. I think the lines, first of all, the money line sus. And then I think the total sus. It's like the fight doesn't go to decision as a minus number. Like the first fight went to decision. What do they know? And I think what they know, Clint, is rematches, they often don't play out the same. Mm-hmm. And I thought in their first fight, it's like I don't think Lopes was aggressive enough. He didn't take as much chances as they needed to. And when he did take those chances, like he knocked Volk down in the second round. And like towards the fifth round, he started to pressure Volk and start having more success. And I think he needs to change something up. He can't come out here, stay at range, and out-technical Alexander Volkanovski over the course of 25 minutes. Not happening. I mean, Alex Volkanovski is probably one of the best, if not the best, minute winners in terms of the striking. Lopes needs to make this kind of dirty, right? Make this a war. Take chances, eat one to give one. Whose chin's better? Test out that chin. And I think Lopez's chin's much better. I think Lopes might have one of the best chins in the division. Some of the shots he was eating against Gene Silva made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Whereas Volk, although at one point did have a very good chin, we can kind of see throughout the last several years, the chin seems to be on a little bit of a decline. He's now starting to get hurt. He's starting to get dropped. He's starting to get knocked out. And Diego Lopes hits very, very hard. So, yeah, I think for me, it's Lopes or pass. And I think if Volkanovski is winning this fight, it's probably by decision. But if Lopes takes more chances, is just a little bit more aggressive, I think that knockout can come here. So I like Lopes, and I like him by knockout this time around.
Wow, by knockout?
Yep.
What a call. I love it. I absolutely love it. Diego Lopes is an equal opportunity employer. He's got 11 career knockouts and 12 career subs. So this is another one where if you want to play it safe, inside the distance is probably a good way to go, just because he could do whichever one he really feels like. But man, I will never forget the inability of Alexander Volkanovski to be submitted, especially when he fought
Ortega. I was there live. I was
Brian
like,
Ortega.
holy, I was holding my breath. It was crazy.
Brady, I had a fight doesn't go the distance bet that night, and I could not believe it. They had to literally scoop Ortega off the mat and like carry him to his corner to keep the fight going. And then Volkanovski's head was turning purple in that choke. Like, I couldn't believe I lost that bet. I could not believe it. Volk is a guy who simply does not tap. So in this case, I'll lean with you towards the KO just because of that. And let me see here. I want to.
It's not a bad number, dude.
Why am I only seeing double chances? What are they doing to me? Diego Lopes inside the distance is like plus 185. And then let's see here. No. Okay. So I'm looking at DraftKings. They're being fucking stupid. They've got method of victory as far as the fight ending period, but not like the individuals. They've got double chances up, but they don't have KO.
KO is like plus 360.
Okay. All right. It's not bad. I don't mind it. And especially considering he just spinning elbowed a guy like Gene Silva. I wouldn't hate it at all either. Yeah. Dog or pass for me as well, man. I don't know that I can quite bet against Volkanovski yet. I don't know if I've got the cojones to do that. I don't have any action yet on this card, you guys. I will be doing something with Benoit Saint-Denis. I like Torrez Finney at this plus 140 number. I'll probably bet him as a dog. And then the rest of the card, honestly, man, this one's kind of treacherous. There's a lot of spots here where it's young guys that are big chalky price tags, and they remind me a lot of Paddy Pimblett last week, where it's like, man, the young kids really should be winning these fights, but these numbers kind of suck. So I'm going to tread a little bit lightly. I would like to get back on the horse week 2 and not dig the hole any deeper for 2026. Let's find a way to win. Thank you so much for joining me today to break all this down, my man. This was an absolute blast. We went really fast tonight. It was a fun card to talk about. Do you have anything you want to shout out, sponsors, shows, where people can find to support you or get more of your content? The floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, I'm with you. I need some sponsors. Holy crap. Where are the sponsors at? Hit me up, for the love of God. For the love of God. But yeah, I'm going live with Uncle Weezy in about 2 hours for Stat Diggers. And then I'm doing like a new content schedule this year. I'm getting my full card breakdowns out on Sundays. I'm doing a live fight companion on Saturdays. So come join me Saturday for a fight companion. Uncle Weezy will be on this Saturday for 325. And yeah, looking forward to this card. A lot of spots are sticking out more so towards the main card. Probably not going to touch the road to UFC fights. Probably not going to touch a couple of these earlier prelims, but on the main card, there's definitely some spots sticking out this week.
I like it. Sounds good, man. Thank you to everybody in the chat who tuned in. We've got over 350 of you live. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know your favorite play for the week. You're welcome to jump in the comment section and mourn the bad beats from last week's card. I can understand that as well. Everybody get out there. Have a good week. Be safe. I know half the country is literally frozen right now, so you guys please stay warm. A buddy of mine is running out of food and is going to have to like walk through the snow to the corner store to go buy beef jerky or some shit so he can stay alive. It's crazy what's going on out there. So please, no joke, everybody, be freaking safe out there, okay? Appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you, you guys. Please, just be safe, you guys. You know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world right now. No matter what side of the fence you stand on, be safe. Don't want any of you guys getting hurt or anything like that. Let's do our best to be a positive light for everybody else out there right now, because man, we could all use some good vibes. So let's do our best to try to present those good vibes, be good people, help each other out when you get the opportunity to, and stay warm. Thank you guys. See you for the Total Takedown, Clint's Hot Props, and the Undefeated Post-Weigh-In Show. That one TBD, you guys. Grandma funeral week. So we're going to have to figure out that Friday undefeated post-weigh-in show this week. It might be one of the rare occasions where I have to cancel a show. And if I do have to do that, I apologize. But, a couple of months ago, or about a month ago at this point, my grandmother passed away. So we're dealing with that this weekend. Your boy might be a little distracted, obviously. I'm not even sure I'll be able to watch these fights live because of all of that. So we'll kind of see. I might tread lightly betting this week as well, because I won't even be able to really enjoy the fights like I normally do. So either way, we'll be back on Monday. We'll be locked and loaded, and who knows, maybe I'll break out the fireball after that kind of a weekend, because I might need it. All right. Love you guys. Let's roll.